Gunther has returned. A McMahon makes a return, and more in our review of Monday Night Raw in a few minutes.
This is gonna be a good one.
Welcome to the Top Rope Take. I'm Ryan Arnold. Raw started off with Cody Rhodes making his way out, which was kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting him to see him on this episode. He came out and started the "What do you want to talk about?" and was interrupted by none other than Stephanie McMahon, which just absolutely blew my mind. I was definitely not expecting that, and it was awesome to see her back on WWE television. Stephanie comes out to the ring. Cody asks her what she wants to talk about, and then she proceeds to tell him that he is not as good as Randy Orton. He is not his father, Dusty, and she doesn't think that he can be sadistic enough to beat Randy Orton. She says he doesn't know Randy Orton. Cody comes back and tells her he does know Randy Orton. He was with him for all the times, back in 2009, all the stuff that they went through. And then he proceeds to tell Stephanie that she is not her father, and he gets a slap for it. Stephanie goes to walk out of the ring. Cody grabs her arm and he says, "I got 2 words for you. Thank you." Makes me think, though, Stephanie is coming out to help Cody. First off, I think that should have been Triple H, just being, he started Randy, he did all the stuff with Randy. I think Triple H would have been better, but this makes me think, is Randy on the phone with Shane or Vince? Seems a little bit more probable now. What do you think? Drop in the comments down below. I did notice at the beginning of Raw, the green shirt guy is back, so it's good to see him back in the front row. IShowSpeed is backstage with Adam Pearce and a Pierre Danhausen. IShowSpeed asked him to remove the curse. Danhausen asked him for a bunch of different things. Adam ends up letting IShowSpeed know that LA Knight is going to be the guest commentator out for the Usos match, and then turns to Danhausen and asks Danhausen, isn't he supposed to disappear? And Danhausen's like, oh, yeah, and just kind of stands there. I thought it was pretty funny. During that segment, I don't know if you noticed, I did, Javon Evans was talking to Kofi Kingston in the background. Pretty interesting. The Usos then came out for their match versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory with a new theme song, which in my opinion was a banger. I liked it. This match is going to be a street fight for the titles. I think this was the match of the night, in my opinion. Logan ends up getting the brass knuckles from his mom, who is in the audience with IShowSpeed. LA Knight intervenes and he drops the brass knuckles. He ends up pulling Speed over the barracks while LA Knight's trying to pull him away. Speed picks up the knucks. LA Knight scares him from behind and Speed knocks out LA Knight. Logan ends up picking up the brass knuckles again. Jimmy goes to do a dive outside the ring. Logan knocks him out. He falls backward. Austin Theory throws his arm over, and Jay jumps out the ring to take out Paul, and they pick up the win. The new tag champions, Logan Paul and Austin Theory of the Vision. Next, we saw Liv Morgan come out and start talking about Stephanie Vaquer, makes a comment about her mom. Vaquer comes out. They get in a brawl. Return of Roxanne Perez. They beat down Vaquer, and Liv ends up doing an oblivion to Vaquer on a chair to end that segment. I can't wait for this match. I think they're starting to build it properly. Then had a backstage segment with IShowSpeed, The Vision, and Paul Heyman. The Vision tells Speed thank you. Paul tells him to take him out for dinner. Adam Pearce enters and tells Paul Heyman he needs to check his email. We then have Bayley and Lyra versus the Irresistible Forces for the titles. It was a decent match, surprisingly. Bayley picking up Nia for a powerbomb was pretty awesome. We've all know Bayley's got that strength. It was good to see her showcasing some of it. We then had the Bellas and Charlotte and Alexa come out, interfere in the match, which ended in a DQ, and the Irresistible Forces retain their title. We then found out later in the night we're going to have a multi-team tag match at Mania, which I think takes away from a decent match we could have had between 2 teams, but it'll be fun to see. I'm looking forward to it. We then had Brock Lesnar come out to the ring with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman talks about kind of the same thing he talked about last week. Brock Lesnar was distracted with all security guards, and then he wasn't ready. Brock then yanks the mic out of Paul Heyman's hand, calls out Oba to come out. Brock is also dressed in his UFC ring gear, ready to fight. Oba comes out, takes out all the security that had came out. He then yeets one security guard, picks him up and tosses him. I think that was really cool. Walks around the ring, intimidates Brock, goes to get in. Triple H then comes out, gets in between them to stop the brawl. Brock ends up leaving and then decides to F5 a security guard on his way out. This is the best built match for Mania. I think this is going to be one of the best matches on the card, and they're doing a great job building this. This segment was perfect, and I cannot wait to see this match. We then had a match between Penta and Kofi for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a decent match. You can see Kofi's face turn starting to take effect. He stopped Grayson Waller from interfering in the match during part of it, and Penta ended up picking up the win. We then learn at the end of the match with an interview that Penta is doing a ladder match at WrestleMania. We then have Adam Pearce again backstage with Paul Heyman, asking him if he's checked his email. And Paul Heyman, the guy that's always on his phone backstage, now all of a sudden is not checking his email. I thought that was pretty funny. We then had Paul Heyman go out to the ring and start cutting a small promo, basically on Adam Pearce. Adam interrupts Paul Heyman again. This night was filled with Adam Pearce, and I did not like it. I can only take him in small doses. He was just on Raw way too much. But eventually, in the episode, he got a little bit of what he deserved, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Adam Pearce came out, interrupted Paul Heyman, let him know that Seth Rollins got all his charges dropped by Boston PD, and he is officially cleared medically to compete. Out comes Seth Rollins. He pops up behind Paul Heyman without a mask, thank the Lord. Hits him in the back with a chair and sets up the stomp. All of a sudden, Seth gets yanked out of the ring. I 100% thought it was Braun Breaker. Ends up being Gunther. Gunther returns, so I'm guessing Braun's not ready to compete for Mania. So Gunther ends up choking out Rollins and somehow managed to bust above his left eye open. But we're going to have Gunther versus Rollins at WrestleMania. What do you think about this match? Put a comment below whether you like it or whether you don't. I think this is a good turn. It's better than something random them putting him up for, and I'm really interested to see this match. An interesting take, though. What if Paul Heyman did check his email? He hired Gunther to take out Rollins. In exchange, Gunther can retire Brock Lesnar. What do you think about that? We then had a match with Io and Raquel. It was a fairly decent match. Didn't last long. Kabuki Warriors came out. Io got distracted. Raquel hit her with a Hana Bomb for the victory. We then learned that John Cena is going to be the official host of WrestleMania 3 weeks out before Mania. I did look and see, I believe it was either Ringside or PW Insider, I'm not sure, said that they did this to boost tickets for Mania, which is pretty obvious. Even from the outside looking in, you can see that that's why they did it. But it'd be cool to see John Cena back in the WWE on television and to see if he has any type of involvement in any of these main event matches. We then had a final segment of Raw with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes out, barely gets the acknowledge me out. Punk comes out, wrapping tape around one of his hands. Roman, I didn't think was going to get ready, but eventually takes his jacket off. They start brawling inside of the ring. They brawl outside of the ring. Roman ends up spearing a security guard and then hits Adam Pearce, goes to powerbomb Punk. Punk reverses it, goes to GTS. They pull them apart. Eventually, Punk gets that GTS and then powerbombs Roman through the table. Punk stood tall to end the segment on Raw. Just my opinion, but I think now more than ever after seeing this ending segment, I think Punk is losing at WrestleMania. Who do you guys have, Roman or Punk? Drop it in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next Top Rope Take.
This is gonna be a good one.